Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, May the 11th. Hey, it's Mother's Day weekend. I want to send an appreciation and love to all the mothers that are a part of Bucks Island, that are customers of Bucks Island, to my mom, my wife, and everybody else, and everybody surrounding us. Thank you so much, mothers, for what it is that you do to make our lives so much better. Hey, it's time to turn our attention to a little bit of fishing in the area. We're going to turn to our usual guys. We got Tom, Lee, Josh, and Gentry that are going to help us figure out how to put a few fish in the boat. We'll be right back with what the guys have to say. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, May the 11th. Hey, want to wish a happy Firefighters Day to our good friend Gentry Gordy, who's spent his career serving people and rescuing people, taking care of the public. Also, Mother's Day is tomorrow. Thanks to all the mothers out there for everything that they do. But let's turn to fishing right now, Gentry. Let's talk a little bit. Let's start at Lake Martin. What's going on over there?
It's starting to get tough, Dano. It's the pleasure boaters are out. The water's heating up. It's that time of year, at Martin, you got to get there early and get off early. A lot of fish are still eating top water in the morning. Even caught some good ones on a jerk bait, especially if you can find the shad up there. They'll feed on them pretty good in the morning times, and it don't take long. You just hit a lull. You got to look a little deeper. I think a lot of them fish are starting to, because the water's warming up, they're wanting to push back out some. So your deeper brush piles, your 12, 15 foot with a shaky head in a Texas rig, stuff like that. It's really been about the only thing I can get a good bite on after the morning bite.
How long is that morning bite lasting?
If you can get some cloud cover, it'll give you another 30 minutes. But usually, once that sun gets above them trees, it's over. You gotta you gotta go look a little deeper.
What about Jordan Lake right now? What are you seeing there?
Jordan's a little bit better, but it's still it's in a funky mood, I guess, with fish pushing out and your shad are moving. Usually this time of year, your shad, as they're heading up that river and you get some water moving, of course, we talk about it, that bite's always there, especially with the water moving. With this little bit of rain we've got, that'll help, especially in the new lake, the canal and stuff like that. That'll help. But other than that, it's more flipping the grass and just moving out a little bit deeper. Morning time, a buzz bait and a walking bait, and even a popper still getting bit, but your better fish are coming, a little bit deeper water. I think they're just starting to push back out.
Have you started to find a frog bite at all yet? Are you hearing about that?
It just, for me, it has not fired this year. I mean, I've caught them on it, and maybe it was a little early, because you've always got fish that's going to be up there. And a lot of times my better fish, come in the dog days of summer on a frog.
Yeah.
So maybe it ain't got there yet, but it's not happened much for me since then.
Well, that's one of those bites that you live for, and I know we all kind of look for it, but
Yeah.
sometimes the weather just makes it shut off. I know that.
Oh, yeah. The frog's always on the front deck. We're going to keep it honest all day.
Love that kabloosh.
Yeah.
Gentry, man, we appreciate everything, and we will talk to you again next week, my friend.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, May the 11th. Hey, first, let me send a shout out to the mothers out there. Thank you for everything that you've done for all of us. Lee, let's talk a little bit of Weiss Lake and Neely Henry fishing. So, Lee, let's talk a little bit of Weiss Lake and Neely Henry fishing. Let's start at Neely Henry this week. What's going on down there?
Neely's fishing pretty good right now. It's with the little weather issues that we've had midweek or a little later, it's just kind of thrown another wrench into it. It's the spotted bass are starting to bite pretty good. A lot of these guys that are going upriver and playing that current, they're doing well with some jigs. Still some plastics, things like that. The guys on the lower end staying more main lake, more largemouth fishing on it. You can get back in some of these little tributaries and some of the little pockets and kind of pitch around. Still a plastic deal. Starting to get a little bit of a buzzbait bite, down there, a little top water, and some of these harder bottoms that are more offshore just a little bit. Some of the fish are starting to try to tend to getting on out there a little deeper on them now.
What about crappie at Neely Henry? Are you hearing anything out of there?
Yeah, Neely is doing a little bit better than Weiss right now because Neely's got a lot of the dock that these fish can really hold on. And what they're doing now, they're pulling out of some of these where we were long lining for them and some of the big flats. They're getting on these dock poles and some of the floating docks. and anything that they can kind of heal up a little bit and feed up and just not have to chase a whole lot. The dock bite has been real good. Shooting docks, I really like to shoot those docks down at Neely right now, and so it's been pretty good fishing at Neely.
All right, so wrap up the Coos River Team Trail that was up at Weiss Lake last weekend. Tell me what happened there, and then let's go to crappie fishing.
I think you can look at some of the weights from the last tournament that we had here on Weiss, and it was one of those things where I think guys caught the fish weren't everywhere. I mean, when you found them, you caught fish, but a lot of it was the small males. I know I caught doing the same pattern. I might have hit 8 or 10 different pockets that had the same type structure, same type thing in there, but only 1 or 2 of those pockets held fish. Didn't get many of the big bites, as you saw. What one? And I think 11 pounds got a paycheck. It's just one of those things where some of these fish are still locked up. Some are in that funk that you get into when it's post spawn and they're just now coming off the bed. Weiss just didn't fish real well, and this week too. I've had bass trips this week at Weiss, and it's been tough on us. You can catch small fish, but those 3, 4, 5 pounders are few and far between. And Weiss, it's going to get better. It'll pick up. It's just that little bit of delayed post spawn that we just got to get through. It's that time of year. We just got to get through it.
Brother, we appreciate everything, Lee. Talk to you again soon next week, my friend. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, May the 11th. Hey, first of all, I want to send a quick shout out to all the mothers in the area out there. Obviously, we're not around without moms. We appreciate everything that you've done for us in our lives. Congratulations to all of you, and happy Mother's Day. Let's turn our attention to some fishing. We'll talk Tom Ott. Tom, what's going on at Guntersville?
Oh, lots and lots of water, lots and lots of trash. I mean, I can't believe how much rain we got. But, I don't know how much that'll really affect I think it'll probably affect the fishermen a little bit more. Be very careful out there running. There's going to be trash everywhere. So just kind of watch yourself and be safe. But anyway, back to the fishing. As far as, it's just been a little weird this year. We've seen some ups and downs, and typically after the big spawn, April is kind of the month where things get a little rough. You got fish transitioning from deep to shallow, but it seems like it's pushed on into May this year. April was a pretty good month. May is just it's just a little funky. I think there's a lot of fish that are still very shallow. We still haven't seen a whole lot of brim beds, and I don't know if that's just they haven't done their thing yet, or they're doing it in a little bit different places. But just really haven't seen too many brim, other than just the small bluegill up shallow. But then there's some fish out deep, just like we talked last week. I think to win, if you're going to fish a tournament, you're going to have some kind of program that's going to catch you some bigger fish up shallow, and then you'll be able to move out and catch some large fish out, on some deep spots. They're not everywhere out deep, but they are starting to congregate a little bit. There's just a few fish and not these big, huge schools. Not saying that there's not big schools out there yet, but it's just it's been a little bit different spring that I've seen in several years anyway. So I think if you're going to fish out on the ledges, throw you something a little bit different. Don't start with that crankbait. We all know what that does on those ledge fish. But, just kind of start with something a little bit different, maybe something that they haven't seen. I heard Gentry talk about a shaky head. Shaky head's always a good thing. Just go up, maybe 3/8 or a half. Those kind of things, just a little different. As far as the shallow bite goes, just keep dragging those plastics, throwing a Cinco, a straight tail, worm, even a little bit of swim worm, starting to see some top water bite. Really haven't seen a huge shad spawn yet either. So I think those are things we got to look forward to.
Well, the issue with the river running on it is not so much the trash, it's the trunks. And I know you're probably going to have to watch for a few big logs. Tom, thanks for all that you do. We look forward to talking to you every week, and thanks again.
Hey, absolutely, guys. We really appreciate it. Tight lines, be safe out there. To all the folks that were affected by those tornadoes over in Scottsboro, you guys just buckle down, and if you need help, reach out.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, May the 11th. Hey, happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there. Let's turn our attention to Josh Herron, talk a little bit of Logan Martin and Lay Lake. Tell me what's Logan Martin open. What did you see there?
The struggle bus, man. The post spawn struggle bus. It was showing out. Mother Nature was in a bad mood. I mean, that tournament could have gone either direction. We were right on the shad spawn. Logan Martin kind of was on course to be really good for that tournament. Alabama Power had other opinions on it, as they usually do right around the time fish like to spawn. They think that the lakes all need to come down. But so that lake should have been full for that tournament, but it wasn't, and we saw the results of it. I think the thing wound up getting one at the dam, which was kind of odd considering we had a shad spawn and the water levels just really played into it more than I thought they were going to. But anyway, regardless, bass never wound up finding shad spawns enough to matter. So it wound up being a dam tournament along with a live scope.
I know Josh Butler spent some time up the dam, and he did talk about to me how the water level just kind of it never got there. And I think the first day of the tournament was the first full pull, which is when the fish go at Logan Martin. So I think they're going to probably be pretty decent now, right?
Yeah, it's going to get better. We ought to have 2 to 3 weeks where whatever residual shad spawn that we had is probably about done by now. Oh, you might have a little bit more of it going on, but traditionally, when water hits the grass at Logan Martin, fish flood the banks for a week or two anyway, and kind of get in on the tail end of what we've got bluegill spawn wise, stuff like that. So that's primarily going to be a thing. It's a great deal early in the mornings if you're just going to get out for an hour or two early. It's a fun way to be able to run around catching bass. Live scope deal is still going to shine. I think it's going to shine forever. So there's way more of them behind you than there are in front of you.
I agree. Lay Lake, quickly touch on Lay Lake. What's going on down there?
About the same. Fish are probably a lot farther ahead at Lay. You got a lot more fish coming out at Lay versus the other way around with Logan. It's going to be the time of year where you're actually going to be able to kind of go out, put some graphs to work if you got the urge to do it. There's still fish to be caught shallow at Lay. It's not the same Lay like it used to be. It seems like a lot more goes on, like I said, behind you than in front of you.
Josh, as always, brother, we appreciate everything. We'll talk to you next week. Tell Aaron we said Happy Mother's Day.
Will do. Thank you, man.
Well, that'll wrap up our Bucks Islands area fishing report for Saturday, May the 11th. Thank you, everybody, for what you are. You are the best part of Bucks Island. Remember, if you're looking for the parts to keep your boat running, the service for the help that you need for it, you're looking for that new boat, or you're looking for that little tackle item that's going to put a few fish over the gunnel of your boat and in your live wells, come on down to Bucks Island. Take a look at us. We'll be here to help you, and we appreciate everything that you are. We'll talk to you again next week.